saw Superman. I'm Sal.
I'm Tiffany.
So we're going to talk about Superman a little bit. We're going to give us a non-spoiler review, and then we're going to get into the spoilers. That way, you have some time. If you haven't had a chance to catch Superman, you want to know what we thought about it immediately, we're going to give it to you right now. Of course, written and directed by James Gunn, starring David Cornsweet, and a slew of other people that are amazing. Honestly, before I get into anything, I just wanted to say that we thoroughly enjoyed this movie.
Yes. Yeah, you're not even speaking for me. That is 100% accurate. We really had a great time with it.
Yep.
Just left the theater feeling good.
Yeah, that's so important for a Superman movie, is just the feeling you have while watching it and the feeling that you take away from it
100%.
when you leave.
Yes.
But everybody was great. And another thing I'll say, there was no bad casting. Everyone inhabited their roles exactly as I would have hoped / imagined.
I agree with that. Yes,
And
1,000%. And I honestly didn't know too many of these actors from too many other roles. I mean, like some of them, yes, but it wasn't like I was like, oh, I'm gonna only see them as this role.
Yeah.
So I kind of just went into this being like, you know, based off of vibes alone.
Right, it's true.
And like the teaser and trailer.
Oh, sure.
I
Yeah.
was like,
but you didn't see a lot of...
I really didn't. I choose to, like, once I've seen like either a teaser or a trailer, I try to stay away from it as much as possible.
Yeah, which I envy you. I'm actually happy I was not spoiled really at all about this movie. I heard one behind the scenes tidbit about it, and I was already prepared, and it didn't really hurt in any way.
Okay.
But yeah, if you're just looking for like kind of a non-spoiler read, I'll say that it introduces the DC universe proper, while Creature Commandos really did. It's technically the first foray into it, although technically also the Suicide Squad / Peacemaker are part of it. If you want to get a non-complicated, well, actually kind of situation, Creature Commandos is really the first entry into the universe, but Superman assumes you didn't watch it. I think Superman acts as a brilliant springboard into the universe and just goes, look, this is probably the first time you're hearing of a new DC cinematic universe is coming into the theater to see Superman. So here it is. I
think if you're not a comic book movie fan or comic book fan, you don't recognize that there are different entries into the universes. You're just like, oh, this is just a different
new Superman movie.
Yeah,
cool. I'm in.
Very much that. But I agree. I think this tonally shows you that James Gunn has the ability to tell a story with a different voice.
Yes, absolutely. This does have that signature James Gunn feel.
Yeah.
There are sequences where we were teeing up a moment and I said, oh, here comes that James Gunn moment that I have come to expect from Guardians movies.
Sure.
But it's not really a Guardians movie in any way, nor does it have that like James Gunn feel overall. It just kind of feels like a fun superhero action adventure movie.
Yeah, I will say I think this movie felt like James Gunn's like sort of like love letter or homage to classic comics and classic Superman media.
Absolutely. Oh yeah, no. This guy is doing a lot of work to try and get Superman working on any conceivable level, much less every conceivable level. The movie had a lot to do. It has to set up a new universe. It has to sell you a Superman movie.
Yes.
It has to get Superman right. It has to introduce his world as well as the DC universe itself. And it has to tell a cogent story.
Yes.
Everyone has to work and fit. Like Nicholas Holt's Lex Luthor has to make sense, not just as his own character, but against Superman / within the framework of this world. And he does a brilliant job as well. I'm a big fan of Nicholas Holt's work. I feel like the poor guy has always been looking for a good vehicle.
Yeah, okay.
And look, he was Beast for a number of years. He did a great job with that. But also...
he's all hair or no hair.
Exactly. But I think I prefer no hair. I
think that's fair.
I like his no hair look. And I like his Lex Luthor. You know, you get the impression he is intelligent, hyper intelligent, but also he is a ruthless supervillain. And that's really unexpected. Lex Luthor has a very interesting motivation in this that is unlike most motivations you'll see in previous Superman cinematic forays.
Yes.
Though also does manage to homage all of them at the same time.
Yeah, this movie I feel like really does do that. It really takes the weight of making it feel entirely new,
Yes.
but also making it feel the history of things that came before it.
Big time. Yeah, in a big way that previous entries have attempted. Like, you know what I thought of? Superman Returns, which is a requel. Like, Superman Returns is like, we're part of the Chris Reeve universe.
Yeah.
And we're going to remind you of that by establishing that the previous continuity of Superman 1 and 2 happened.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to do the whole swooshing credits. And that's really it.
Yeah, I definitely thought 70s Superman. I definitely thought Superman Returns. But I also definitely thought the comics, which I feel like most moviegoers are not going to recognize that.
Nope.
But I think comic book fans should recognize a distilled version of the core of who many people think Superman is.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. If you have an idea of who Superman is, you're probably going to see it on the screen.
Yeah.
If you think, I think I've got a pretty good beat on who Superman is.
Especially in the comics. Like, I really want to
Especially if you're coming from the comic book world. But in the movies, you might have no preconceived idea because there are so many radically different versions.
Mm-hmm.
And that's great too, because you're given another one.
Yes.
I saw an interesting observation about David Corenswet's depiction of Superman.
Okay.
And how basically that is to say James Gunn and company, decided to try and stop making Superman look cool and just let Superman exist and see what happens instead.
Yeah.
And this Superman is a person who says golly.
Yep.
Or is a little hokey.
Yep.
And it's not played for laughs. It works in eliciting laughs, but it's not done at his expense.
Yes. He's not putting on a suit to be a clown.
No.
He just can't help himself.
Exactly. And I think in that purity and in that kind of
duality,
that genuine depiction and that genuine performance, you will fall in love with him. Like, you'll like Superman as a result.
I agree. I definitely agree.
You know? This is a movie that I was worried was really, really crowded as far as characters were concerned.
That's
a lot of characters in the movie because you're getting Superman, you're getting Lois Lane, Jimmy, Perry, Cat Grant, even Steve Lombard, and Lex Luthor, and even Eve Tessmacher, holdover from the Chris Reeve Superman series.
Yes.
You're also getting, a bevy of other super related DC characters, but focusing just on the Superman cast. They all are not only all the actors are inhabiting their roles in such an excellent way. I mean, Skylar Gisondo, I know I said that wrong. His Jimmy, great. Works.
Yes.
It's exactly what I want.
Yes.
Doesn't overstay his welcome. Plays his role perfectly.
Yes.
Does set up things in the plot that work and affect change and are valuable, but also doesn't overwhelm it in any way or get distracting and odd.
I thought Wendell Pierce was a perfect Perry White.
I loved his Perry White. Not a lot of Perry White in the movie,
but I knew everything about him.
Exactly, and that's the thing, right? Like, he plays Perry White, and Perry White does a very specific thing or two in this movie that Perry White needs to do.
Yes,
but it's not the Perry White show.
No,
it's not the Jimmy Olsen show. It's not the Cat Grant show.
No,
but
they're all there in service of the story.
Exactly.
And to build character.
Well, and they're there because they're there.
Yeah.
Because Cat Grant works for the Daily Planet. So, so
they're not there to be like, and now we're going to spin off.
No.
Like, they're not there for any of that. They're there because they should be in a Superman movie, and they only help to, we don't have mega side plots for these characters.
No, they're not pitches. Although, having seen how the Daily Planet operates and watching Lois, Jimmy, and Perry, and Kent, and Steve all work together, I was like, oh yeah, I guess you could do a Daily Planet show, and I'd watch the hell out of it.
I would enjoy some shorts, maybe.
I'd take shorts. Yeah, big time shorts.
Shorts.
Shorts is a lot less ambitious and aggressive of a spin-off concept.
Yes.
I'd take TikToks or short, just little social media videos. They did make a few of them, but they weren't like highly produced. They were just like, oh, we're on set, we built sets, let's film on them and have some fun. Worked out really well, because I saw a little bit of criticism about how there are some characters who got a lot more screen time or a lot more focus, whereas characters like Perry were kind of sidelined.
Sure.
And
for now, but it's like I have to assume that, you know, a lot of the characters that maybe we're referring to will maybe have another opportunity.
They have other opportunities.
I don't know.
Yeah, certainly more so than like Michaela Hoover's Cat Grant. Like, I feel like Cat's not going to get a lot of screen time. So, but her role is fine in this. It does what we need to do. I feel like maybe we lost a little bit of her performance in deleted scenes, but like, who knows? I don't know.
She definitely felt like she was there because she is meant to be
because she's part of the world, and it's fun to see that fleshed out world of
1,000%
of Lois. And
1,000%.
What'd you think of Lois? Rachel Brosnahan's Lois Lane.
I liked her a lot. I have a coworker who was like, wait, isn't the person who's playing, like, she couldn't remember the name because she's not a comic book person. And I was like, Lois
Lane. She couldn't remember Lois Lane.
I have a fun story, a total tangent here.
Let's hear it
really quickly. I was talking to them about this film, right? And I was like, you know, we're doing blah blah blah. They're like, I was talking about it, I think afterwards, like after I'd already seen it. Maybe it was before. It doesn't matter. All that matters is that it was revealed to me that this individual did not know the origin story of Superman.
What?
And I was like, this is a singular experience for me right now to be able
to tell them.
I got to tell them the story of where
What'd
Superman...
you pick? John Byrne, Grant Morrison? Where'd you go?
I kept it pretty basic. I was like, there's a lot of versions of it, but I'm like, here are the highlights. And I'm like, you need to understand Doom Planet.
Yep.
You know, often scientists, often not scientists, parents, you know, come up with a plan. The rest of the world says no to that plan. They start to build rockets. It happens too quickly. They send their son away.
Yeah.
He lands in Kansas and he's cared for by two parents who love him. Like, and actually got them like emotional.
Yeah.
Like hearing the story about this like orphan.
Yep.
And like this immigrant who like rolls up and like these like people just immediately are just like, I love
this is
our
everything. Child.
Yeah,
now.
I love everything about you.
Doom Planet, Kindly Couple, Last Hope.
I said that I'm like, you don't understand. I'm like, there's a comic which is like really famously well done that opens it up with like just the highlights of it. I'm like, because we all know it. I'm like, and yet
but you don't.
And yet
but
here
you
we
would
are.
Get it. Exactly.
But you get it. But it really hit them because they're also a parent.
Yeah.
Talking about how it's just like, you need to understand like part of where Superman comes from and his humility comes from are from the Kents.
Yes.
From his parents.
Yeah.
From like the farmers who found him.
Exactly.
And like how they raised him because they're like, I don't care what you can do. You know, I care about who you are.
Exactly. And in fact, that's a good segue to talk about Neva Howell and Pruitt Taylor Vince's depictions of Ma and Pa Kent and how lovely they were.
Yes, absolutely.
How they really nailed it.
They were as though they had just found like the real world versions of these two characters.
Yeah.
Like they were so genuine and so real.
Yes.
Like it was unbelievable. And I don't know either of these actors from anything else, which I think really helped.
Yes.
Because I'm just like, that's just who you are. Now you're just Ma and Pa Kent.
Yeah. I mean, I recognized Pruitt Vince, but I was like,
I did not.
I was like, oh, it's the dude from Constantine.
I did not.
But he's great. Very different portrayals than I've ever seen in any media. And I really love every depiction of the Kents. Actor wise, there's at least one version where I'm like, that is not them, but I would have also cast those people to be the Kents.
Sure.
I think with a different script, that would have been amazing.
Sure.
But these two played it, like you said, very real.
Yes.
And not just real, like they're really Ma and Pa from the DC comics. No, they felt like they were from Kansas. They felt like genuine heart of the soil American Kansas parents who also embody this like these qualities that are intrinsic and essential to making Superman.
100%. You follow, you understand without having to see.
Yeah, right.
Like how
they're not in it very much.
Yeah.
And in fact, there's a sequence where we are introduced to them, which you almost don't see coming.
Yeah.
And then you're like, oh my God, that's right. I've been watching this movie for over an hour and I haven't met the Kents yet. And then they show up and they only have probably like a handful of lines apiece.
Yeah.
But
every line is selected intentionally.
Yeah.
And tells you there's so much character building.
Oh, world building within the house, within the farm,
within like their actions. Cause that is really what I think helped to drive home who they were for me. It wasn't just what they said, it was what they did in the scenes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like where their focus was, their movements, their action, just all of that.
Yeah.
We were talking about Lois Lane.
Yes, Rachel Brosnahan's version of Lois Lane.
And you had asked me like what I thought of her. The coworker I was talking about, they knew her from The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel.
Yes.
Which they're like, I would really have a hard time imagining her as this character. I'm like, well, isn't Mrs. Maisel like very outspoken and like a go-getter? And she's like, yeah. And I'm like, that's Lois.
That's Lois, yeah.
And I was like, and I had to explain who Lois Lane was and you know what she did and how she's like, she'll do anything to get the story. And she's a Pulitzer Prize winner and she's very intelligent and you know, she gives Superman a run for his money in that way. And I thought she really nailed a like modern iteration of that.
Yeah.
I really liked her.
Yep.
You know, it's like it's weird. We spent a lot of time with her, but I feel like we didn't spend a lot of time with her.
No. She's in almost every scene.
She's in yes. But we get to see her being a reporter.
Yes.
You know, and I really appreciate that.
Yeah, we see a lot of elements of Lois in this that I appreciate and enjoy. I've liked almost every on-screen version of Lois as well, and Rachel Brosnahan just adds to the list. I liked her as well, but also carries her own energy and her own distinct personality and performance.
Yep.
I love the interplay between her and Corrin Sweat. I found that their chemistry, that is to say, Rachel Brosnahan and David Corrin Sweat's chemistry, was fantastic.
Yes,
they really played off each other well. It feels like they must have like gone to camp together. Like I feel like they must have worked on these scenes together. There's a great sequence, which a portion of it was released online intentionally to kind of sell you on the movie. Again, we're still in non-spoiler territory, but
yes.
It's just it's a duality between the two of them, a little interplay, and their conversation is so genuine and real, and it speaks to everyone's strengths. Corrin Sweat, Brosnahan, and Gunn.
Yes,
writing and directing.
Yes,
to see these characters who you presume to know, and you've probably read hundreds of thousands of comics of them, hundreds or thousands of comics of theirs, and seen their interactions and known and seen so many interpretations. Dana Delaney is my favorite Lois Lane so far.
Yeah,
but you know, they give you this scene of these characters talking, and you're like, this is just a real conversation. It feels like a real conversation. It feels like a real, you know, possible relationship, and also it's these two larger than life characters, and it still all works. Like, you can't believe that a scene like this is in a Superman movie, but also you can't imagine this movie without those scenes.
Yeah, I agree with that for sure. So aside, within our non-spoilers, are we talking about the other heroes that are in it?
Right. I think everyone's seen the heroes, but I think we can talk a little bit about those. In fact, we might as well, just to get through the characters, and then we'll talk about the plot specifically in the spoiler territory.
Okay, yeah. I just didn't want, because you didn't mention them earlier, so I didn't want to like say.
No, I wanted to focus entirely on the Superman world.
Sure.
And again, Nicholas Hoult deserves all accolades for his depiction of Lex. I can't get into it too specifically because everything that Lex does is important and essential.
We won't, but I mean, yes,
he's great.
If you have, again, it's much like the way in which Corrin Sweat and Gunn have distilled who many people think Superman is. I think Holt did a similar thing with Gunn in distilling who many people think Lex Luthor is.
Absolutely, yeah. You believe that this Lex could do or be many different versions of Lex.
Yes.
But yeah, as far as the heroes are concerned, we saw that there is the Justice Gang is in this. They call themselves the Justice Gang. Obviously, it's a flexible terminology.
Yeah.
We saw, Hawkgirl, Mr. Terrific, Guy Gardner, and Lex has a DC character in his employ.
Yes, but we'll get into that necessarily. We'll just get into those three.
Exactly.
I think Isabella Merced did a great job as Hawkgirl.
Yep, she was great.
There's like a specific character feature for Hawkgirl that I didn't expect, and
and I think it's just because they knew. It's like, look, how many depictions of Hawkgirl in non-comic media are there? One. Well, technically, I think there was one in a live-action superheroes sideshow spectacular that had Adam West Batman and a number of other characters.
But regardless, very excited about that.
Yeah, but you got that homage.
Yes,
because she battles with a mace.
Yes,
and
great stuff.
What does Hawkgirl do with that mace? How does she maybe use
just
that?
Great stuff.
It's great. Yeah.
Nathan Fillion was a surprise for me for how much he portrayed Guy Gardner and how much I enjoyed that, while at the same time continuing to dislike Guy Gardner.
Yes.
Obviously this is a character that James Gunn got to have some fun with, which we'll talk about later on.
Oh yeah.
But I think did a great job embodying this character and that bowl cut.
Yep.
But like for me, like I was really excited when we saw that original teaser image or that like leaked image or whatever it was of Superman and Mr. Terrific standing next to each other. I was like, this is really cool.
Yes.
Like this is really, really
them
cool.
in their very distinct, very iconic outfits.
Yeah.
And they were just like looking up at a wall in that image that they released. And it was like, but that also was fun because those costumes were on those actors. They were in the moment. They were catching light.
Yes.
They worked.
Yes. And I wasn't really sure, like, I feel like in the media I've read Mr. Terrific in, it's often been in like a very specific voice, but I think it's just the nature of the books I've read him
Big time.
in.
Yeah.
And so I really wasn't sure what we were going to see in terms of this character. Like with Guy Gardner, I was like, I kind of have an idea where they're going to go personality wise. And I already don't really care for him anyway. And I know Fillion, but like Mr. Terrific, I was like, which way are we going to go with this? And I thought Eddie Gathegi really brought his own voice to the character.
His voice, I'm glad you brought up his voice because his voice was like so awesome.
Yes.
Like he brought this power behind it and it really just commanded the room.
Yeah. And it's like, like he just has a presence when he's on screen with this character in particular. And maybe it also helps that like we happen to know like Sal and I and comic book readers how intelligent Mr. Terrific is. So it's like when he speaks, you should listen. You probably want to quiet down and listen up. But I feel like even people who probably didn't know the character's history kind of got that feel as well. And so like I was really impressed with that performance quite a bit.
Agreed.
And the costuming, especially I was like,
it's tough.
His is like right out of the comics.
Oh, it is. No, yeah, and I can imagine how hard that would be to accomplish.
Yes,
and I was like, well, I mean, how do you get the T on your face? And do you make it a mask? Do you make it like face paint? I don't know. And
I really appreciated the fact that it seemed it may or may not have been practical, but it had a practical like effect to it, which I really appreciated. It just felt like every actor in this movie had a moment of like truly embodying the character. And I'm sure depending on how much was practical and wasn't practical, like part of it is that costuming.
Yes.
And like stepping into that
There's
role.
Something so important about getting A, good costuming right, and B, having it available for the actors to
put on, to suit up and to like put the skin of that character on in a way.
Like it's funny thinking about, I mean, they kept the Fair Play jacket. They made him in the whole embodiment of the character, and I was very pleased and impressed with how they pulled that off.
Yes.
Guy Gardner getting that suit, like having that jacket, seeing the Green Lantern logo, that was what really got me for a moment. Like I remember because I'm just like, it's Nathan Fillion. I'm gonna love whatever he's doing, and he's great, and he's such a lovable jerk in this movie, and there's a great moment where the two of them square off, Superman and Guy Gardner, for a moment, and I'm like, that's so Guy. Yes. And it was so great to see. But for me, it was just seeing him. There was a moment where he like turned and you see his jacket and you see the Green Lantern logo. And I'm like, Green Lantern's in this movie. Like I'm watching a Superman movie with Green Lantern in it.
Yes.
And
that's what I thought was interesting about this trio. So you have these three people, and without obviously spoiling anything, because it's just like you happen to know that there are these three characters and they're going to interact with one another. I felt like Hawkgirl also embodied who Hawkgirl often is, just that fire, that passion, and that dismissiveness at times.
Yes.
And I thought like Isabella really did a nice job.
I agree.
Like delivering those lines and standing against like, these guys.
Yeah. These big dudes.
Yeah.
It's true. I love that as well. You do see him in the trailer, so I can mention that Anthony Carrigan's Metamorpho.
Yes.
I didn't know what to expect the most from him, and I loved it. Again, brilliant, inspired casting.
Yes.
He's sympathetic and vulnerable and interesting. And again, he looks practical. Like there's a lot of elements that I can imagine.
Well, of course, because he's Metamorpho.
Exactly. That have to be CG as well.
Yes.
But yeah, whatever you see on the set, like, again, catching light.
And again,
able to be shot. Like, it just
we're talking about the fact too, we have a character who, upon meeting them, you get the feeling that there is a lot more to this character through line delivery and just acting in general.
That's right. Just through his performance.
Yes.
And that was really cool.
Absolutely.
And I was very impressed.
Yes.
And and how they utilized that character was also impressive.
Yes, yeah, for sure.
Are there any other things you want to mention that are pre-spoilers? I guess just like, I think the plot is tight. I think it's very uncomplicated, despite how many characters are in this movie and how much effort there is to be made on this.
I think there's one other thing to mention.
Okay.
I think Crypto was great.
Oh, Crypto, yes.
I don't know if they did mocap on a dog. I just thought
I think the dog's entirely CG.
Yeah, but I wasn't sure if they actually mocapped the dog for some of the action.
Right.
Because some of the movements that Crypto makes are so
authentic.
Canine.
Yep.
So authentically canine. Without spoiling anything, I'd say I think it could have potentially have been a situation where it could have been too much, and I think it was enough.
It was enough. It was not too much.
No.
I didn't go, there wasn't enough Crypto, but I was like, I'm surprised by how much he is in this movie.
Yes.
By the way, Jolene, you were a good dog.
You're a good
well
dog.
done.
Yes.
That was the stand-in actor for Crypto, apparently, in the movie. So,
yes.
So well done, Jolene. You're a good dog.
You're a good dog.
But Crypto, I mean, Crypto was part of like the entire marketing.
Yes.
Which is a smart move, by the way.
Oh,
if you are
100%.
going to try and sell a movie just through, a cute, colorful character that you don't have to pay royalties to, pick the adorable dog.
Crypto is perfect. I think it's getting a lot of people who may not have normally been like, oh, maybe they'll be like, I'll wait to see it. They're like, well, I want to go see it.
I did kind of want to see it.
I want to see Crypto. I want to see the dog. Or like families are getting more interested in possibly going to this as well. But I wanted to mention that because like you said, it was a big part of the marketing, and I think for a lot of people that was either in the marketing like a sore spot where it was just like, what the heck?
Why is there so much dog in this?
Yeah, or it was a indication of tone in some way.
Sure, yeah.
Hopefully for the good.
Yeah.
Again, without as we're like kind of winding down the spoiler-free section, I agree. I think the script was tight.
Yep.
I think the acting was superb. I really actually liked the score and soundtrack for this. I never know which one to say for a movie. I think it's score.
Yeah.
In general.
Well, there is
a
music, soundtrack and there is a score.
So both of them, I like them both.
Let's talk about music for just a second.
Sure.
Because I found that.
I mean, I think we don't have to. We won't be spoiling anything. If you have seen any James Gunn superhero movie, music is a big part of his directing style.
Though it was very restrained.
It was so restrained.
It was whereas one of my biggest criticisms of Guardians 3 is that there were too many needle drops.
Yeah. Okay.
This one I don't think there weren't enough, but there was a shockingly light amount of needle drops.
Imagine instead that the needle drop is actually just the theme, the Superman theme. Because I feel like James Gunn just has reverence for that theme.
Yeah, and it is a version of the Williams theme. It is an incorporation. It's a new theme that also very much relies on the Williams theme. I don't know if I love it. I don't dislike it, and it does fill the sequence with reverence and gravitas.
Mm-hmm.
And because of its malleability, because of the changes that they made to it, I didn't feel like it was besmirching the Reeve run, nor did I think that movie when I was thinking this. I just thought Superman, which is what they were going for, but it was emblematic of a thing that I was surprised by. It was not a criticism necessarily that I have of this movie, but I will call it one because I don't want to seem unbiased. I do want to seem unbiased, but it did not have like the shot composition and the direction. The direction of the actors is excellent. The direction of the action is great too. But like, it doesn't have the epic scope that previous Superman vehicles have attempted. Like, the last two solo Superman movies that I saw in the theater have a very like widescreen, legendary scope to them. They're very like larger than life. We're making Superman. It's a very reverent kind of mythological kind of depiction of Superman. And this movie does not have that. It's not that it lacks gravitas. It's just that it doesn't attempt to mythologize with the directing, with the photography direction.
And okay, so you think that is a criticism?
I don't have I'll call it a criticism because it's an observation I made where I'm like, this is very much more of a boots on the ground. If I could if I called anything of this movie a marvelization of it, it's that. I don't think it looks like a bad Marvel movie. It's not like, Thor Love and Thunder looks like a toothpaste commercial. This looked like a fun movie. But that's all but it looked like a fun movie. It did not try to like go up its own nose. It wasn't like, this is Superman.
I think I'm gonna have to disagree with you on
Fair
that
enough.
because I felt like the way in which this film was shot was more of an indication of the type of Superman we were getting.
Right.
And I think it had a certain humility and humbleness to it, except for there are moments when it does not. And because of the rest of the way that the film is shot, those moments sing.
That's fair. Yeah. There are sequences
we're trying to say it as well, but there was one shot in particular, like that, like people were like wanted to clap to.
They did. Yeah.
And they did, in fact, because, and I think that would have been lost if everything looked like that.
I agree. I agree with you there. And I'm not saying that it's bad that they didn't do that. I'm actually saying that, like, you might get caught up. You might not be reminded you're watching a Superman movie while watching the Superman movie.
Okay.
Like, this movie is it's a fun action adventure superhero flick, and you're going to enjoy it, and you're going to have a good time watching it.
Right.
And at no point are you going to think like, oh, unless you do, and unless those moments are genuine and authentic and character based.
Right.
I think the score exemplifies that as well. I think it carries over that same thing. The music is not like, we got these amazing symphonic composers to whip up this,
but it
like,
sounds good.
It sounds good. It's good. It's good. And it does the job. It's not utilitarian. It's somewhere between utilitarian and legendary. It's just a movie. And I think that is actually to its benefit, because as a result, they got out of their own way, and they're just like, look, greater filmmakers have stumbled. I mean, like, there's landfills of failed Superman attempts and scripts.
Yes.
And all of them are trying to be the biggest, next, most defining depiction of America's most, epic mythological contribution.
Right.
And that's to their detriment because they got in their own way. This is just a movie with Superman in it. And
let that.
Like the thing where it's like, Superman isn't cool. Let Superman just be Superman.
Yeah.
The movie is just, let it be a Superman movie. Just let us make a Superman movie, and we'll get there.
That's fair. I mean, for me, I like the theme.
I like it too.
I like it quite a bit.
Yeah.
But like, sometimes the score doesn't always hit me right away.
No.
And like, I have found like reverence for things later on. So I'm reticent to talk about it like overall, other than like, there was no moment where I was like, why are we hearing this?
No,
I was just like, oh, okay.
That's the thing, is
like it didn't stand out necessarily.
No.
But it also like effortlessly like themed what I was watching.
I agree.
I was like, oh yes, of course.
It creeps up on you, and it emerges at the right time.
Yeah, I agree.
It's not an odd thing where like he's drinking a coffee and they hit you with the theme.
Yes.
Like, it's all earned.
Yes.
But you might be surprised to see like this is a movie about a Superman that isn't also going like, whoa.
Yeah. No,
every element to this is widescreen.
Yeah. I mean, I think my final spoiler-free thoughts are easily just that this is a movie that was about hope.
Yes.
And made me feel hopeful upon leaving the theater.
About a lot of things.
And I don't mean just the movie itself. I just think the characterization of Superman, this is the hopeful one. He's a little more of the big blue Boy Scout than we've seen recently.
Yeah.
And I think that instead of people worrying about one over the other, I think the creators of both things that often are being now going to be compared, would want you to just enjoy the fact that both exist in a world.
Exactly.
And I hope that if someone goes and sees this and they like it and it's not up your alley, that you don't belittle either person.
I agree.
You know what I mean? Like, on either side of it. Like, if you loved it and someone who didn't like it, like that's
fine.
It's cool. Let them both exist.
Exactly.
They both exist, and it's totally okay.
Yeah. That said, we didn't talk much about Corin Sweat as Superman.
Oh yeah, no, we didn't.
He is Superman.
Yes, 1,000%.
Like, he is comic book Superman, he's movie Superman, he's
Clark Kent,
he's Clark Kent,
all of it,
and he manages to do it all and doesn't overdo it in any particular direction. He's not like it, it's not like he's a better Clark Kent than he is Superman or vice versa.
No, he's
his Clark Kent is also, and again, it's also not pretentious, and it isn't like some grand thing. Like you can't deny, like when Chris Reeve transforms from Superman to Clark Kent or vice versa, like it is a physical transformation.
Yes.
It's magic on screen.
Yes.
Whereas in this case, we don't really see a morphing moment where he turns into, but he does switch back and forth, and you can feel those moments where he is both characters, and it's not about being one or the other. This isn't a Kill Bill monologue. It's just he just is this guy, and it, like that. And for me, that's post-crisis Superman. That's a guy who's like, yeah, when my powers manifested, like I kicked ass in football. And then I was like, and then my dad made me understand that that's probably not a good idea.
Yeah.
And not because I need to hide my gifts from the world. It's because it's not fair.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's really cool.
Yes.
And I really like that. And because it's also a version we haven't really seen much of. And so that's really fun. Yeah. Corin Sweat, dude, came out of nowhere for me. Never seen him in anything. And I love it. And hearing people who have been there, who were on the set when he was in the Superman suit.
Yeah.
They said it wasn't like meeting an actor. It was like Superman came up to them and said hello. And
that's really nice.
Yeah.
I love that too. I love that so much.
So getting into spoiler territory, let's talk about the plot a little bit. So
here come the spoilers.
Here come the spoilers. Here we go, folks. So there is a conflict in a nebulous made up area of
Baravia and Jarenpur.
Two warring countries. One is technologically more advanced than the other. Off camera, Superman intercedes. It causes some ripples in the world where they're kind of like, whoa, Superman's okay.
Like America stepped in. He's like, no,
that was just me.
In.
And like, well, that's even more of a problem, actually.
Well, no, I just wanted to stop violence.
Yeah, exactly.
I just wanted everybody to be okay.
Right, but you don't have the authority to do that. And look, we've seen that conflict before. We've seen that discussion, that concept, and I love it, and I liked it as a kind of background. I'm so glad we didn't see him do it. I'm glad that was off camera.
Yeah, me too.
Meanwhile, we also have the element of Superman is he's established, he's in his 30s. He and Lois are together, although it's tenuous though it may be.
Yeah, well, and I actually really like that a lot because it's based less on conflict of some other nature and more or less just about who they are. Or he's like, yeah, well, that's cool, we're dating, and she's like, I don't think I can date people.
Right.
I'm actually not okay. I don't know how to do that.
Yeah.
I mess it all up every time, and I'm just
Yeah, it's nice to see that. And with the conversation we were referring to before was kind of them, Superman, she has her questions, she has her doubts, and so she lobs them at him under the pretense of an interview, and he doesn't know how to differentiate between himself and his Superman persona and who he is at the core.
That's an interesting read on it, because I felt the read was that plus Lois not being able to differentiate between I'm having a relationship with somebody.
Oh no, that's true.
And I'm a reporter.
Yeah, she is. She can't turn it off.
She's a reporter first.
Yeah.
And Clark's like, I'm a caring person first.
Exactly. And that dictates everything I do.
Regardless of who I am, if I'm Superman or Clark, I'm a caring human being.
I'm just going to do the right thing.
And I need to do that.
That's right. I loved Lois's inability to turn it off, or rather, it's not that she can't turn it off. She's not interviewing him while they're making out or anything. But
no.
Once she gets going, she's just like, well,
obviously I would just ask these questions.
Mm-hmm. And it's true, by the way. And it's okay for her to ask those questions because someone should. And it's nice that Superman was held to task because no one asks.
Yes.
You see him at the Fortress of Solitude, and he's interacting with the robots. The robots are all yes men. They're not going to challenge his ideas.
I mean, 4 does a little bit.
Maybe, but only in as much as it's
/ Gary.
Yeah, Gary. Again, yet another robot role for Alan Tudyk. By the way, no complaints there.
Not at all.
Alan Tudyk is a national treasure.
Yes.
Having met him, I can tell you he is a lovely and beautiful man.
Yeah.
But there's also another element, and for me, it's the. Well, let's talk more about the story.
Sure. Let's go for it.
Lex Luthor is obviously at the
forefront of the antagonist role.
Yep, and he's at the core of the plot. He's the one who's manipulating the countries into fighting each other. He unleashes a villain called the Hammer of Baravia, who's just his secret weapon, Lex Luthor's secret weapon that he lobs at Superman to drum up more anti-Superman sentiment.
Mhm.
And there's a secret about who the Hammer of Bravia really is. That may have been leaked, I don't know, but we can tell you now that it's actually a secret clone of Superman, which is like the reveal. I don't think it surprised many.
No,
I think by that point they were like, right, just get on with it. Though I was kind of like, I wonder if they're going to go this way, if they're going to make him Bizarro, or if they're going to make it just some weird clone.
Because it's funny, like, as the mask was coming off, I was like, oh, it's Kara, and that's why she's going to go off and do the Supergirl thing, because she's so upset about the whole thing. And I was like, wait, that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
So I was glad it was. Actually, and I thought it was perfect motivation for Lex to do that, because it's Lex needing control over him.
Of course, yeah.
And he's just like, not only am I going to beat you, I'm going to beat you with yourself, who I have, like, you are under my thumb.
Mm-hmm. Well, and what's funny is that also informs a lot of the like decisions that he makes, and also the leverage that he eventually recovers when he and the engineer infiltrate the Fortress of Solitude and co-opt Superman's parents, their biological parents' message to him. Of course, in this story, the idea is that like their message to Kal-El is interrupted halfway through, and they lost the rest of the message. The engineer uses her engineer powers to recover them, then they release it into the universe, and everyone is, and the twist is that actually they're Viltrumites, like that they're like, oh no, we want you to be a conqueror and you know, take on a harem and populate the planet with like super despots and whatnot. And Superman is shaken by this. But unlike most of the other like versions of Superman you could imagine that I've seen in like script form at the very least, which is like every Hollywood depiction of Superman is always like, but he's alone. Oh, this alien, he's all by himself and he's so sad that he's so alone, like what let's explore that element for another movie. Let's spend $600 million to look at that. But he's sad, and because he kind of explains that he embodies the message and spirit of his parents, which is like, go do good. He extrapolates, like,
we found a planet where you could like, help them and like do the most good, and like you could, just be careful, like not like take that, not
care for them like a pet, but
like more like protect them
exactly
from like whatever else happens.
And I really liked that moment in before
where it's like he's completely shook.
He is, and it's funny because like what he doesn't understand or take comfort in is like he extrapolates the rest of their message from himself. It's like, well, but Ma and Pa made you fill in the rest with who you are and how the message must be positive. The implication of the movie, and there's no other scene in the movie to indicate this, is that it's contradictory and that they are actually like despots.
But like upon seeing this, I immediately was like, didn't we do a comic in which the like message was intercepted and changed
by Lex Luthor?
So like the entire movie, I'm thinking that, although they don't say it out loud, but I'm like, that's what I'm going.
And they have moments like where they have Mr. Terrific say that it's not altered in any way, and it's like, you can well, and it's the engineer. She's like, oh, I'll figure it out, and I'm like, she just makes her own thing. But
she screwed it up,
right?
You're
thinking of Birthright, and it's like,
okay.
And that is the story of Birthright, and there's a little bit of Birthright in this movie, and as I understand it, there may be in fact deleted sequences that are that indicate, the message was changed. But I saw a lot of criticism immediately where people were like, whoa, I don't like the idea of changing the elf.
Excuse me, you didn't see that. You heard that from me, because that was what somebody said as we were leaving the theaters. Because Sal and I got separated like as we were walking out, because it was like,
there were so many people in the theater.
There actually really was, and it was like, wow,
more than half of them wearing Superman
But there was
shirts.
a couple behind me, and like the one of them was just like, I didn't care for the fact that that like Superman's parents were like bad guys,
evil,
like they were evil, and I wanted to turn around and be like, yeah, you big a fan of Jor-El?
What's name 3 favorite Jor-El stories?
Well, it's just like, you can listen, you can be upset about that. I would be more upset if they were like, actually the Kents were evil. I would be very upset.
I'd be more upset about the Kents, but also I mean, it does, if you change the L's, you fundamentally alter the history of Superman. The message of the movie is that like Superman has like, he prioritized ghosts over his actual family. And, that's indicated in the end of the sequence, because like the idea of Superman's injured by the Hammer of Bravia. And so he needs to be helped and repaired by the sun, and so he goes to the Fortress of Solitude. They fix him up, and while they're fixing him up, they like to play the message from his parents because it's soothing, and then they echo that later on, and it's actually home footage from the Kent's family,
and that may be correct.
And it's tearjerker. every sequence with the Kents is a tearjerker.
Yes, 100%.
But yeah, I firmly believe that the elves are actually benevolent, and that it's just they wanted to keep it under 2 hours and 10 minutes, and they did. And this is one of those things where they're like, it will complicate the message if also he had like 4 great parents. Like, just whatever. It doesn't necessarily matter, and it really doesn't matter for the purposes of this movie. It matters in the mythology of Superman, but again, that's more of like a general culture kind of thing, as opposed to a specific this story kind of thing.
And as we kind of were talking about off camera, this could be something that could also be cleared up in a later film with Supergirl,
right? Which is a movie that they filmed already.
That is a spoiler. So, like, at the end of the movie, there she is. She's one of the post-credit scenes. It's her dog.
Yes,
like Crypto is her dog in this, and that's why it's so like Crypto is a good dog, but Crypto is also a bad boy sometimes. He's not his fault.
He's not well trained.
He's not well trained. She doesn't keep up with it,
no,
obviously.
And Millie Alcock's Supergirl is not a good trainer.
No.
And she enables his bad behavior because she herself has bad behavior.
It is not Crypto's fault at all.
No.
Crypto is just doing what Crypto does.
There's no bad dogs, just bad owners.
Yeah, but like when she shows, like later on, she could be like, what are you talking about?
Right. Yeah. What? Yeah. Because also, if Supergirl exists, what, they're all bad? Wouldn't she be? No. So, and you're gonna meet like the other elves. You're gonna meet Zor-El and Allura in the Supergirl movie, and like you're gonna see all that. No, they're not gonna be monsters.
Yeah.
By the way, Bradley Cooper being Jor-El, I'm like, okay.
I didn't even recognize him at all.
I just thought it was weird.
When I saw it in the credits, I was like, what?
What? Yeah, this is bizarre.
I mean, if you're Bradley Cooper and they're like, you want to be in the Superman movie?
Yeah, he's like, yeah. I mean,
sure, why not?
Well, and also,
who am I gonna play?
Yeah, you're gonna be Superman's dad.
Okay,
cool. I'm in. But yeah, we do get a minute of Millie Alcock's Supergirl.
Yeah,
what'd you think of Supergirl?
It gave me a lot of hope for real,
because she looks just like
it had
she
nothing
does.
to do with it. It was the way she acted.
Well, yeah,
that reckless, like, not like sure what she's doing right now, like that destructive nature because of her like either lingering depression or whatever.
Yeah, that
will hopefully be resolved in Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow.
I think they're dropping the Woman of Tomorrow. I think they're just calling it Supergirl.
Fine.
I know.
But you know what I mean? Like, I'm already seeing the setup to that.
Yeah.
And I think that's cool. I mean, she is joyous as well, but it's a very much a destructive way.
She even has the trench coat.
And Clark sets it up that she's going for her birthday. Yeah. Or like, that she is going to go drink and she can only do that on. And I'm like, we are setting up
doing the
pieces
the
that we need. And I'm like, excellent, let's go. But we're not here to talk about that right now.
No.
So yeah, so like so he gets that news.
Yep.
We see a portion of humanity turn on him immediately.
Superman never at any point turns on them or regrets his decisions.
No, he's just like,
kind of like, well, what does this mean?
Like, he's like, am I a bad person?
Right, exactly.
Like, am I really a bad person?
Yeah, that's the kind of concern I want Superman to have.
Yes.
But yeah, so Superman is set against the Justice Gang because the Justice Gang is an established superhero team. He doesn't want to join them. He seems to like work with them occasionally. So they're like, they're pals.
Guy being like, wait. So do you have a secret harem?
Right, exactly. That's funny. Because come on,
I want in.
Exactly.
Not as that.
The idea that that's for me. That was where I was like, oh, okay, it's a joke. Like, it's fake because like no one would say just have a secret harem.
Well, they didn't say that. They said take many wives.
Right, exactly. No, they say harem. I think.
No, Lex says harem.
Oh yeah, that's right.
He's the one that coins that. Like, he goes out there to sensationalize it by like being like, see, I'm afraid.
Yeah, by being on Michael Ian Black's show. It was just like, okay, yeah, but so Lex is drumming up anti-Superman sentiment. Superman is like, okay, well, I guess I'll at some point or another, basically they're like, they get to him because of the shaking of his confidence there and the whole like anti-Superman sentiment because of his actions in the Middle East. He decides, okay, I'm going to give myself up, and so.
Well, no, excuse me, you're missing a key component as to why he does what he does, and it's because he eventually realizes, like, how did they find this out? He goes back to the Fortress of Solitude. It's wrecked, and Crypto is missing.
That's right.
He
needs to find out where he is, and so at first he has an outburst with Lex Luthor, which is great.
But all he wants is the dog back. I mean, he's upset about the whole thing, but like he just
cares about this poor innocent animal.
Yeah, he's just like, well, the Krypto didn't do anything to you.
Exactly.
Like,
yeah.
Don't be a jerk.
So when he gives himself up, it's really to just find out where the dog is. But we find out that Lex Luthor has access to pocket dimensions, or he creates a pocket dimension
some sort of phantom zone.
It's a phantom zone. that's the only other real but I don't care. It's like there's Lex Luthor invents the phantom zone.
It also, but like when I thought about it for a second, I was like, character wise, it makes sense that
this Superman wouldn't have one, wouldn't but I like the idea that now he does have one, and because they created this whole thing.
Well, I would say Mr. Terrific has one.
Yeah, but I think I want to say the situation is to access, then they got to open up like a hole in space, and you can't leave it open that long. It's dangerous. That also adds an element of danger and concern. Like, it's why now I'm okay with Superman having a phantom zone, because in this case, it's not a moral judgment. I wonder if I should put you in the phantom zone. I can't open the door very much. Like, I can't use the phantom zone too often.
I like the idea that it was that, because it just shows you the difference between like the Clark or the Superman version that we've seen in the comics, where it's not dangerous at all, and Lex doing it being like, no, but I'm smart enough.
Right.
It's fine. I know what I'm doing. And honestly, it doesn't matter because you just don't understand.
Yes.
Like, none of you understand my grand vision, that type of thing. And I'm like, I like that as a character moment for him.
I agree.
Yeah.
So Lex has a secret prism in the Phantom Zone. He's been putting other metahumans in there as well.
And other people who bother him.
And people who bother him, like ex-girlfriends or, people like angry bloggers. They all go in the Phantom Zone. So Metamorpho is actually a prisoner / guard of the Phantom Zone that he has, that he uses to generate kryptonite to keep Superman in line and poison him. And they have leverage over Metamorpho by hanging on to his son, who is a character in the comics, and it's very goofy. And if I had 2 nickels for every time DC did a weird action sequence involving CGI babies, I'd have 2 nickels. Which is not a lot of money, but it's still weird they did it twice. But
I think this is a better one.
Oh, between the two, this one is actually fun, and the other one is just weird. Also, Baby Joey is like green and kind of a cartoon anyway, so I guess okay.
Cute. He's cute.
Is cute, weird, okay. But yeah, so Superman goes to the Phantom Zone. Lois has to go rescue him. She teams up with the Justice Gang. She tries to convince them not to do it. I don't want to get into every single plot point, but great spectacular action sequences. We get to see Terrific's ship, which is awesome looking and fun. We get to
see a great action sequence with Terrific.
We get to showcase you're gonna love Terrific.
Yeah, that's really what it wasn't just trying to convince you.
No.
It was like, this is
why he's cool.
Narratively makes sense.
Yeah.
But also I get to throw a little spotlight there. It's
you're
gonna have a whole show that explains Green Lantern. Green Lantern will get some moments to make constructs. You understand the powers.
Yeah.
We get to see Hawkgirl like screaming her head off all over the place. I freaking loved it.
Yeah.
But Mr. Terrific, for a lot of it is like flying around, like doing the thing, using the Terrific spheres. But like that sequence, I was like, got it. Yeah.
It's also the Yondu arrow sequence. Like it's like, oh, here's the sequence. Here's the James Gunn sequence where we get a big moment where one character who is fun and who's fan favorite doesn't get the whole plot. Gets to be cool and kick ass and beat a bunch of people up. To a song. And they do, and it's great. I also forgot to mention Maria Gabriela de Faria, who plays the engineer. She's fun, she's scary, she's intense. She's very not the authority engineer that we got in the comics.
No, but you can see maybe how we might get there.
She will change. Like you see her go through a character arc of sorts. She doesn't get much development, but she has one moment that you get where she's just like, I gave up my humanity because I believed in you. And you're like, that's her talking to Lex.
And at one point when it seemed like she might not make it, Lex is upset, but I'm like, I don't think it has anything
He's not upset about her being dead. He's losing Superman.
No, I think he's upset because he's losing an asset.
Well, that's fair.
I put money into it. Like, you're an asset for me.
I thought he was upset when that she was failing.
No, I literally think it's because I was like, he's looking at the time and effort and money he put into this project.
That's fair.
Because that's how he thinks.
Right, exactly.
Okay, so
but she's great.
A couple of things story-wise I want to point out too is that throughout this we are like, we have Lex Luthor. Those of us who know Lex Luthor are like, well, he doesn't like Superman, so everything he does is driven by that.
Yeah.
The movie's like, yes, but actually secretly he's going to get like half of a country when Moravia takes over. And we're like, okay, which is like very much the land scheme.
I couldn't believe, I was like, oh my God, he's going after land again.
Right. But then we get one final thing where he's just like, no, I did that to distract you. I hate you.
Yeah. It's the whole movie. All of my complicated, geopolitical my machinations are all in service of me destroying Superman.
Yes, because it's like, I don't like, you make me feel small.
I'm like, yay, that's Lex Luthor. You did it.
I'm like, you freaking nailed it. Everything he does is 1000% that. Yeah. Like the people he surrounds himself with, the way he acts around them, like knocking the cup on the floor.
Yeah.
He breaks a pen cup and then makes everybody pick them up.
Yep.
And then when they're done with that,
he does it again.
He does it again. And I'm like, are you a cat? Like,
yeah.
What are you doing?
He's great.
He is spectacular in his embodiment of that character. Like, he uses the media, his like speeches about how it's just, like about, Superman like came down and everyone's focused on him. Mm-hmm. And I'm like,
yeah.
Like that ego.
Yeah.
It's
perfect.
Spectacular.
Yep, it's exactly what I want from Lex Luthor.
Yes.
I should also point out that Sarah Sampaio's Eve Tessmacher is amazing and great.
She's spectacular.
That was the one thing I went, oh my God. Because I'm just Parker Posey and the previous Steve Tessmacher. I was like, why do we have to have one of these every time? And she has a plot purpose.
Yes.
She exists for a reason that services the story. Oh my God, thank you.
And that's really what I
which
think
the original one did too.
Yes, but I feel like it's more so.
More so. It's not just like she's just so enamored with Superman. She just takes the kryptonite off of him.
Yeah. No. I felt like there's so many moments like that in this movie where you think it's just done for a laugh and then it turns out to be something important to the plot.
Yeah.
When they're in the, like, we're going to call it the Phantom Zone, whatever. When we're there and Terrific sends in the Terrifispheres after them to find out. Mm-hmm. And the first one runs into Crypto.
Yes.
And then the second one we watch is like Superman watches, like, he's like, don't. And
Crypto destroys the T-spheres.
Well, he's following that out as they come out and he destroys the other T-sphere and he just keeps doing it. Mm-hmm. You realize that by the end that like Superman recognizes that Crypto will do that.
Yes.
And then uses it to best Lex.
Yes, exactly.
And I'm like,
that's great. Yeah, it's Superman not just being like, I'm the strongest and most powerful, and just if I hope and believe in myself a little more, I'll solve this problem.
Yes,
he's a problem solver. He's a human, in as much as he is vulnerable and intelligent, and mm-hmm. Tries to problem solve. And that's great.
I thought it was interesting. Ultraman is essentially like run by a bunch of like video game people.
Yep.
They're just calling out combos. They're calling out things. They you can beat Superman if you have like 9 people working on it simultaneously with like a being that has Superman's powers.
Exactly.
And I was like, that's a really interesting way to do it. That it was like, it was only going to work in this one situation. And then once Superman understood how it was happening, he fixes the problem. Yeah. Right. And he's like, oh, okay, sure. Like I'll think my way through it.
Yep. Sad to lose Ultraman. Not that we lost the character. He does get thrown into a black hole, but I'm hoping
I think he comes out Bizarro.
Yeah, he's gonna be Bizarro. Yeah, which is great.
I was like, wait, are they sending Ultraman to like Earth, whatever?
Yeah, to Earth 2, where he can be Ultraman.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the question, and I was worried. Oh no, is it gonna be Ultraman? There's no way that Ultraman would do anything here other than try
or like
to rule.
Serve Lex.
Yeah, he would never serve Lex. But I think it was just like, well, we have the rights to use the name Ultraman, so we'll just use that. Mm-hmm. Now, it could be, I love the idea that maybe he enters the multiverse through the black hole.
It also works perfectly, the idea that Lex created this being and then was like, what's better than Super?
Ultra. Yeah.
Yeah, you think you're the Superman? Well, this is the Ultraman, and I made him.
Exactly.
Because I'm the god of the Ultraman. I'm the father of Ultraman. Like, that's basically like being even better than Ultraman.
Yeah.
Everything is in service to character and to plot and to story in this. Like, there are like, I thought right at the beginning, there's like a couple of sequences we watched. Like, we get a little bit of an info dump.
Yes.
Right.
That very brief.
That felt like old school movies, but also felt like total comic book.
Yes.
I'm like, that's your intro page, right? Where it's just like, hey,
this is when the Metahuman first arrived. This is when Superman arrived.
Got it. And now let's launch into it. And then there's a few sequences we have, or like the first 20 minutes to me felt like issues of comics. Yeah. We're just watching Superman do things to understand who he is.
Yeah.
Before we kind of like, we
are
working on the plot.
Yes.
But like, we're slowly gaining into it. And I just like, that was where I was just like, James Gunn clearly has read at least a comic book in his life.
Yes.
No,
and he's read many comics.
But it just felt like he wasn't just being like, I mean, listen, whatever. Like, yeah, they're comic book characters. We're making a movie.
Right. We're making the real.
And he's like, no, we're making a comic book movie.
Yeah.
And so like, we're going to make,
and he's made them
like
before.
that.
He's like, well, I know what we should use. You know, I'm the guy who suggested we use Ego the Living Planet and pay Fox to get it.
Right.
It's funny. If there's any question, they had that beautiful picture that was like in camera effects of Superman putting his boots on with that crazy thing in the background. My theory was a Sun Eater. It's Mixospitalik, the big monster that.
Is that what you think it is?
He says it was an interdimensional imp.
I don't think it's the main one. I think it's just because there's many. But there's no way you would trust Guy Gardner
to fight Mixospitalik. Yeah. No, but so he calls it an interdimensional imp. I think. It's Mixie taking a form and doing it that way.
Maybe
because the fact that he called it an imp and the fact that James Gunn has said that one of his favorite Batman characters is Batmite, I was like, all right.
Maybe. I mean, maybe he's just saying there's many others.
Yes.
I loved talking about like the hokiness of this Superman while also like this Superman is not one flavor.
No.
Like if anything, it is hope.
Yes.
But like there's so many layers to the character that create this version of Superman.
Yeah, it's like a delicious Viennetta ice cream cake. There's so many layers. And it's beautiful and mysterious at the same time.
Okay. But like we see a lot of that action on screen. Obviously, like the thing from the trailer and the teaser that got me every time was him saving that girl. It hit me the same way.
It does. Yeah. Yeah.
It hit me the exact same way that like, there's a thing that's sent out there to distract everybody from whatever's happening over here.
Yeah, the
right?
big kaiju monster.
And like the Justice Gang shows up in order to take it down, but they do it in their way, which is like, we just got to get results and it's fine. And who cares about how we're going to get there? Yeah. And it's to the detriment of those around them. Yes. And so like Superman spends most of the time just doing damage control, just saving people.
And also he's disappointed in how they resolve it.
Yeah, he's talking to Terrific, and he's just like, well, I was just thinking we gotta find a way to get it out of here so we can like put it somewhere, we could study it. Like he's clearly thinking the zoo.
Exactly.
Like he's already
thinking of that awesome zoo.
Like, I gotta make that happen. And Terrific's like
what? There was a big kaiju monster attacking the city. We needed to act.
The needs of the many, man.
Yeah, it's like all right, but not all of you can lift a giant kaiju monster.
But he could. Space. We see that he's not doing that either. But like I appreciated that so much, where it's just like you get in his head for a second. Yeah. It's silly and it's stupid, but he saves a squirrel. Like he just cares about all life.
Yeah.
And like he just wants everything to, he's going to do the best that he can.
Yeah.
In every way, shape, and form.
Yep. I liked his interplay with everybody. Superman interacting with other superheroes was really cool. Yes. His camaraderie.
Yes.
I can't wait to see him interact with Batman someday.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Superman interacting with everyone was fantastic. Superman trying to have a firm voice with Crypto.
Yep.
Hilarious.
Yes.
Even Superman like talking with Lex. Like,
yes.
But more or less just being like,
what's the matter with you? That was also a great all-star Superman moment where he's just like, you could have been something else. Like, you didn't have to be like this.
Yeah, we could just
solve these problems together. Like, it's just great. Yeah, really good stuff.
He reaches out with the laurel branch and like slaps it away every
time. Of course,
time.
which is great.
Which I think for a lot of people, some people are gonna think it's hilarious, some people are gonna think it's silly. I kind of loved Crypto, just like Lex needed to get something.
Yeah, Crypto beating the crap out of Lex Luthor. It was interesting. I was okay with it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I didn't know how to feel about Lex crying. I loved it, but I was also like, oh, like this sad, poor person. He didn't get what he wanted, and he's just coming apart. It's good.
No, I don't feel bad for him.
It was a good acting choice. I was like, this is good.
It was.
But it was really sad.
It was. Oh my gosh. Okay, that like really intensely specific guy in Lex's command center there with the mustache.
Yeah.
When Terrific comes in.
What is that guy?
The code's over here. I can help you.
Yeah, please.
I'm Mr. Terrific.
I'm Mr. Terrific. I don't need your help at all. Yeah, that was great. Yeah, Mr. Terrific. Every sequence of Mr. Terrific is worth the price of admission.
Yeah, he's great. Yep. He's absolutely great. What I liked about this universe, though, regardless of how hopeful Superman is himself, and how Crypto is silly and whatever, and like we get a lot of dog jokes, and like Mr. Terrific's like, why'd you bring the dog? Like we get all that. I 1000% believe, though, that all of these characters could be faced with the same darkness that we've seen maybe in other gun projects.
Yeah, big time. Yeah, we could have ramped up the stakes or made them darker.
Or like we got to know them now, and so like when things are more dire or when they're scarier, like we will be along with those characters for the ride.
Yeah,
it's like we got to know them.
Yeah, I agree. Overall, I think it's worth checking out. You got to see it in the theater. We saw it in IMAX, and I think it was great. We didn't see it in one of those like insane theaters, but we saw it in a nice IMAX screen,
and it was really good.
And it was really good. It was a nice aspect ratio the whole time. I didn't look lost. I wasn't like trying to focus on any one thing.
No. I will say I loved. Speaking of IMAX, just because of the fact that when we walked in, the poster, like there was like the poster for the movie, and then there's this huge thing where it was like IMAX, and like Superman was like super, like the name was tiny over it. Like it was more about the IMAX thing, but it was him and Crypto on the moon.
Yes.
And that being one of the post-credit scenes.
Yeah.
Like that was, I don't know, that was really beautiful to me.
It was beautiful.
And I think it was a really lovely button.
Yes. Yeah, that was that was a nice moment.
For a number of things. One, it was just like, it felt very all-star.
Yes.
Of course. But like just, him being like, yeah, no, I am here to help just watch over and make sure everybody's okay.
Yeah.
But also him like Crypto being like, okay,
you're all right.
I kind of settled down.
Yeah,
okay.
I like the idea that like we watched Crypto go through a character arc.
Yes, but not really.
Maybe we'll see. We're gonna see him. I think we're gonna see him in Supergirl.
Yo, if we do, I'm gonna be so like, that's not okay.
Yeah. Well, I mean, read the book if you haven't already. Pick up Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow. It's an amazing comic book.
It really
is. So are All-Star Superman, Superman Birthright. Those are the two books you need in order to like get some references. I wouldn't necessarily read The Authority to get anything about the Engineer, because you're gonna be like, oh man.
Yeah, no.
But by the way, you should read the first volume of Authority.
Yeah, for sure. Listen, like, obviously this had a lot riding on it for a lot of people, and I think there's going to be a lot of strong feelings about it. Because even if Superman isn't the most read comic, people have a lot of opinions about the character and who they are and who they represent and who the entire like family around him, like the cast of characters that surround Superman. People have a lot of opinions about those characters.
Yep.
This movie happens to align with a lot of what I believe Superman to be.
That's fair.
And I have to say, like, because of that, like, I didn't go into it thinking like it was going to be amazing. I actually came into it with a more critical eye.
Yeah.
Because I was like, I know you're already setting up to probably be like more hopeful, but are you going to be doing it the right way?
It will be authentic.
Well, will it feel authentic? It will feel like you're just talking down to me. And I felt like there was more authenticity.
I agree. Yeah.
To it.
Yeah, that's fair.
I know there's one thing we definitely didn't talk about. I kind of think touched on it before, but instead of making people chase down other videos, the costume, the Superman suit. How do we feel about it on screen?
I mean, it pops on screen. It's beautiful.
This is snap, crackle, and pop.
I think so. I mean, yeah, definitely. I mean, it's not an Aaron Sorkin movie with dialogue, but like, I'll tell you, the suit itself, it's beautiful. A thought occurred to me today where I thought, I bet they change it.
I mean,
I bet they refine it. Like,
sure,
whatever we get, that's this version of Superman.
Yes,
and I think we're going to see some changes. Like, I bet the cape gets tucked into their own little slots. I bet that changes.
Sure,
we're going to lose a few things that like kind of make it bulky. But it never at any point looked weird.
No,
at no point did I think because all the criticism about it, like, oh, it's bunchy when he turns or folds or whatever. No, it looks great. Does it bunch and stuff? It should. It's practical.
Yeah,
but it also works really well.
If it didn't, he would explode out of it every time he moved.
Yeah. No, it's practical and yet looks good in the CG they use to depict it. So it's like, it works.
In my opinion, listen, if you're going to critique that's completely up to you. It's what you're, it's absolutely that. I will say, I think it's a direct reference to All-Star.
Yeah, it is.
In terms of what the suit looks like there.
Yeah, outside of the S crest, of course.
Well, I mean, but in terms of the way it lays based on the art.
Yes.
For sure. There was a moment where we're watching it late, like it was like maybe 20-30 minutes into the movie, and like I see Superman, my brain's like, you're seeing Superman wearing the trunks.
Yes.
Like live action.
Yeah, it's when he came out of the thing. I think
you're absolutely. I was like,
the trunks were very prominent.
And but like in a way where it wasn't like I was like, I was just like I was like elated. It was joy.
For me, it worked so well.
Yes.
I understand that Gunn is not as married to the trunks for Batman as he is for Superman. And even then, there was a debate. Apparently it was almost a coin flip at this point about whether he wore the trunks or not.
Superman?
Yeah. Okay. And I think the trunks work so well in this suit. I think it was a good
call. It's easier to remove them to add them.
That's true.
So it's like they could always be removed down the line, but you couldn't put them back on.
No, so people would have a real problem.
You gotta have it now, and then if you want to remove it later, you can. Yeah. I kind of get the idea, maybe not giving them to Batman. Fine. We've seen it.
I'm on the same page.
Yeah, I don't know.
I've never seen them.
That's true, like live action.
I think it depends. I'd like to see a version.
I think it's going to depend on the story.
It's going to depend on which version of Batman we're going.
100%. I know we didn't get a chance to talk spoilers about the Kents.
Oh, they're great. And I mean, Pa is more emotional than we've seen in any other version.
Yes.
And that only makes you more emotional watching.
I think that's absolutely true. Them arriving, like I just didn't think about it necessarily. And then when they arrived and the Kents immediately just rush out because they know exactly what's going on.
They know what's up.
They know what's up. Lois is there, but we find like this is Lois who's never met them, and they're immediately like, "Hey,
yeah,
hi. Like it's cool."
I think she said they met them once or something like that. But yeah, she
I
met
think
Ma once.
I think this is the once. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But the sequence where like they put him in his like childhood bedroom, they haven't changed it.
Yeah. That's a great moment too, because there's a beautiful sequence where Lois is finally like seeing him.
Yeah.
She like looks around his room and like understands like, oh, this is a guy. This is a regular, this is a human.
Yeah. Like she's like, yeah, I got to know Clark Kent, but I really know Superman. And she's like, now I'm getting to really know Clark.
Yeah.
But that's what I'm talking about. Like, cause in the background, like the Ma and Pa are like just
fretting over it. Yeah. They're doing their thing. Yeah. They're being parents.
Yeah. They're caring for him and they're, you know, they're just worried.
Yep.
But yeah, like, Superman is like doesn't spend most of the doesn't spend the entire movie only worrying about like his parents. Like there's a period of time he talks to his dad.
Yes.
Like his dad.
Yeah.
Like Pa Kent, his pa, and like who like is just like who just sets him right.
Yes.
Or sets him straight.
That's all it takes.
In like a beautiful way. And like that hug.
Yeah, it's great.
Oh. It's so sweet. I love Ma.
Yeah.
Like she's just like like, you know, she calls him a mush.
Yep.
It's so sweet.
Yeah, there's a world building moment I noticed where like, you know, because everybody in the world has flat screen TVs. They have this old flat screen TV. It's like really thick.
Yeah,
it's just like that's what the Kents like. This is the money they have.
100%.
I thought that was so beautiful. It's such a real.
Yes,
I was just like, wow, detail went into this movie.
Yes,
like, they're really focused on making this movie. Like,
yes. I love that, like, she, of course, cleaned his boot. Like, you know, she's like, I cleaned your boots.
Yeah, well,
because, like, farmers, they track mud in. Like, she's like, I'm thinking about the boots. I got to take care of the boots. I got to clean the whole thing. I love seeing Crypto on the farm.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know why that hit me in such a way.
Because it made him more of a dog.
Yeah, he was a dog. Like, I was like, wow, how often does Crypto get to run around in a field of grass?
Yeah, probably
and,
not
like,
a lot.
meet a cow.
Yeah, exactly.
But I love that he's like, he had to take him. He's like,
yeah, I have to take him away.
Mom, Pa cannot.
Yeah, he'll be plowing through cows. I can't.
Pa can't take him for a walk.
No,
it's gonna be a
or
bad
he'll die.
Scene. Yeah.
No,
and again, when it comes to like, I think the rest of the bullpen at the planet, they introduced us to a lot of characters that I think was more for comic readers than anything else.
Yeah, that's for like that's also like if we ever go back to the planet and showcase him doing Daily Planet stuff, you'll already have everybody. You'll have Steve and you'll have Kat.
And like Lombard comes across as a jerk, but like I think comic book readers are more like,
Lombard,
he's a jerk.
Yeah, Lombard's great. It's all-star Steve. So works perfectly.
Yes.
I'm in. I'm in for more. I'm ready for the rest. I'd like a sequel immediately.
Oh, can I point out a couple of other things? One, there's a big emphasis also just on pets in general. Like you'll see a bunch of different pets within the movie. I thought the scene of Crypto in the pet store was hilarious.
Yes.
Because obviously within the fight, like, you know, like Crypto's just off on his own at the final fight. And I love the idea that he just went and found, like, he's looting and pillaging himself.
Yeah, there is an obvious product placement moment in that where like there's a Milkbone poster, and I was like, that is as flagrant and obvious as any product placement in any Transformers movie,
right? But at least,
also it's for Milkbone. I'm like
whatever.
I'm like the strongest marketing push on this was with the dog for dog products, and I'm like, you know what?
Go for it. Like at the Puppy Bowl.
Yeah, the Puppy Bowl also is super connected to this.
Yeah,
I'm like, you know what? That's great
for a good cause.
It's all for a good cause. I'm like, you know what? That works out great. I love it. I'm no complaints. If it was Mountain Dew, I'd be like.
But the other thing I wanted to highlight was the emphasis on modern, like normal, like day-to-day heroes. Where it's like at one point, like during an evacuation sequence, like we see a fireman like carrying a little girl. You know, there's a character who like has no family, but like is a big fan of Superman. He tries to help him up, you know what I mean? And then like he inevitably pays the ultimate price. And dies. And like it breaks Superman. It actually is the catalyst for Metamorpho to turn. And it's only because of this person, like this human, like who just sacrificed.
Who didn't ask for it.
Who didn't ask for it, who just wanted to help. But at the end, like, you know, it's not enough because he's still dead, but like he's like, there's like an article. I'm gonna guess it's written by Clark or Lois. I don't know.
It's Clark.
But it's all about like how, like, you know, he was a hero. And I'm like, that's what I liked about this movie, where it's like, yes, Superman is Superman. But like it also recognizes like all
the heroism in everyone.
Yeah, exactly. And like I actually like what did you think about what I assumed when we saw the kids like raising the flag, like the Iwo Jima style flag, that like Superman was going to show up?
Yeah,
I did not up until like, I'm like, how is he going to get out of this fast
he's
enough
so
to get over there? I mean, I know he's fast,
and then Guy Gardner pops,
and it's just like, but like Superman's like, I'm not so like. I don't like. I'm not going to make it.
Yeah,
but like those people have to be saved,
right?
So like, I'm going to have to ask a favor, like,
which is great because that also like lays the seeds for the Justice League.
It does. It absolutely does. But it also like when we see them all earlier work together, everybody like flocks to Superman, and like guys like,
oh, okay, fine.
But like when he like,
but when he saves the day, he's like, all
which
right.
by the way,
fantastic depiction of the green. The guy making like multiple bird flippings that flip over tanks and destroy like munitions is better than any green construct moment from the Green Lantern movie.
Yeah,
like it's awesome. I would like to see more of that, please.
Yes. So good.
And if Guy's gonna be in the Lantern show, get some cool green constructs in there because it's on display.
Yes, but that type of storytelling where it's like the visual storytelling of like seeing the newspaper article, just that character, I can't remember what his name was. Malik.
Oh yeah.
Being a hero, even up until the point where like Malik, really well portrayed, by the way, like his fear and like how quickly it ends. That was like, and like Lex Luthor just being so like being kind of shocked that he did it. But then B also just being like, oh, I thought that was gonna last longer. All right, well, anyway, moving on. And but it's that type of storytelling that like also shows us that like the people in charge of these films are world building completely and wholly as to the character of Superman.
Yes.
Where it's like Superman doesn't just like say these things.
No.
Like it's what he believes.
Exactly.
And I'm like, that's really cool.
Yeah.
It's just all really, really cool.
It's just very
cool.
I
want to see it again.
Yeah. We'll see it again. It's a great flick. It's definitely worth checking out in the theaters. Do that as well.
Please do.
I can't wait to see more. I can't wait to see the rest of the DC universe through this lens.
Yes,
and,
absolutely.
I hope it's a strong showing. I hope we get
Me
to see
too.
more of this world. I'd like to see more. And so if you haven't already, definitely check out that movie and let us know what you think about it in the comments down below. We'll see you guys next time here on this channel. For more, I'm Sal.
And I'm Tiffany.
So long, everybody.